Hello everybody and welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here to review the 2013 found footage horror movie The Borderlands, also known as Final Prayer. A movie that is directed by Elliot Goldner and is another one of those found footage movies that has been recommended to me repeatedly by a number of people. And you know who you are. And I just haven't had a chance to see it, and I'm on a bit of a kick at the minute catching up with my found footage horror movies that I haven't seen yet, because it's my intention in a week or so to do another top 10 list, and I want to do my top 10 found footage horror movies. So I want to make sure I've seen those that people are recommending to give them a fair chance of getting in my top 10 list. And wow, this, I've been warned about this one, that it's pretty scary and pretty intense, and they weren't kidding, it absolutely is. And I think found footage, and I've said this before, when they're done right, they can be arguably the most effective horror movies on the market. When they're done wrong, like Unfriended and things like that, they're absolute rubbish. But this one absolutely nails it. It nails the feel and the intensity and believability. Now, I've just a little bit of a glut for punishment, because I've just watched the Placchese tapes and I found that really deeply upsetting, but in a different way. And I mentioned in that review that when you're watching a found footage horror movie where it's based on supernatural or monsters and things like that, you always know deep down that it's not really real. And yet the Placchese tapes is a different type of fear, because it's based on a serial killer. You kind of feel that could have happened or could happen. And genuinely, while watching this, it felt absolutely real. The actors did a really fantastic job, and they felt like real people and real characters, the majority of them. And this film focuses on two priests and a techie guy who works for the church, who are sent to investigate a rural church that is claiming that is experiencing miracles. So this team of vicars go out, whose job it is basically to debunk this, and they go all over the world and do it, and they fully expect it to be fake, as you would, I'm sure. So they go out, set up all these cameras, all these base tests, all this kind of stuff, to try and figure out what's going on at this church. And as you can imagine, things don't go well, and things get increasingly more intense as the days go on. Very, very subtle things at first, things moving, all that kind of stuff, and then it just boom, intensifies, coupled with the fact that the locals aren't particularly welcoming, to the point where they're setting fire to goats outside the houses, which was terrifying, by the way. So as the days go on, it gets worse and worse and worse, and it gets to the point where one of them even calls in like the top guy from the Vatican, almost, you know, some kind of demon priesty guy who deals with this sort of thing. He brings him on board to help out, which has no effect at all on the church. So there you go, that's the story here, guys. If you've never seen it, I don't want to go any further, but needless to say, when I'd finished watching this, I had a really bad headache, because I was so tense. I get so, if I'm watching a horror film and it's doing its job properly, I'll either go really, really cold, or I'll get really tense. It's like riding a roller coaster, and I tighten up to the point where I get a bloody headache. And I had a really bad headache at the end of this one, and really intense film to watch. And the last 20 minutes blow you away, and the ending itself, I did not expect it. There's some like catacombs underneath this church and stuff that they go exploring in, and what they find in there, I thought it was going to be get quite predictable down there, but I couldn't have been any more wrong if I'd have tried. What happened in the tunnels at the end just blew me away. Fantastic ending, couldn't fault it. Really, really good found footage horror movie, this one, guys. It really is. Like I say, the characters are fully believable, really well written and acted for the most part. I thought the the actor that played Mark, one of the priests, who was like the person in charge, was a bit I don't know. There were elements of that character I didn't really like, but he was supposed to be like the villain of the group, I suppose. So there were elements of that didn't feel real, his character, but everyone else, the two others, were just brilliant. Really well directed, very, very clever, genuinely frightening, and I do mean that, genuinely frightening. There's a couple of niggles I have with it. They explain away like the camera footage that basically the church want every single thing filmed, everything. But you would have thought that would have just meant the church, but no, they have to wear them all the time, which is how they explain away the found footage. And it even goes as far where one of them gets up in the morning and goes to make himself a cup of tea or something, and the other one says, "Where's your camera?" And he's like, "Oh, I'll put it on him." And he says, "No, go and get it now." So they emphasise the importance of wearing these cameras so that you feel like, you know, that's why everything's filmed. But in reality, you wouldn't wear them all the time, especially in the cottage when nothing's happening. You'd only really wear them at the church. I thought Deacon, one of the priests, who was brilliant, I thought he went from like non-believer to believer a little bit too quickly. And there's a scene where something tragic happens and he goes back out to the church in the dark on his own and to try and find more evidence, and at this point he believes something's not right there. Nobody would do that. Who would do that? Go to that church on their own in the dark with just a torch? No, not me. But other than that, I can't give you any other faults, real genuine faults with this movie. Yeah, it's found footage, so you get a bit of shaky cam and a bit of nausea with the things that are going off, but you're used to that with found footage movies. That's to be expected. For me, guys, completely knocked it out of the park, this one. Really thoroughly enjoyed it. Very strong 8 out of 10 for me. Delighted that I'm going to see it. And will this make it into my top 10 list of found footage horror movies? Well, you'll have to watch when my top 10 list goes up in a week or so. So thank you very much for watching, everyone.